It is The Riot on RadioU. Podcast today. Actually, I'm glad because if we did Worst of Riot, we wouldn't have had a podcast today.
People would have been wondering what happened.
So if you are truly thankful that there's a podcast, you need to thank Isaia because he made it happen.
Just barely. I literally, my wheels squealed on in here. I kind of slid in right at the start of the show. I walked inside and I looked at Nikki and I was like, what the heck are we about to do?
What are we doing?
Like, what's the plan?
Well, at the RadioU headquarters, massive level 2, level 3 in some areas, snowstorms. And what people don't realize is even if your area hits a level 2, when you're in radio, they'll like, oh, don't go in. You're not allowed to unless it's an emergency or you're, they say, oh, check with your employer. But when you're in media, you're good to go.
Yeah, you just go. If you can make it, you can make it.
Or you have to at least try. It's not like in some places they're like, you could be arrested. No, they'll escort you.
Yeah.
You can actually call the police if you're in radio and they'll come pick you up. That's a waste of resources, but
that's who I should have called this morning.
You could do that if
can you just take me? And then I show up in the back of a cop car to RadioU. Wouldn't that have been epic this morning? I'm like, take me in.
Can you bring me in? Well, I mean, it's true because yesterday, to get out, one of our new afternoon DJ, Nene, he had to call the police and they had to come help him, and it took like an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad any of us made it in. I'm spoiled because I live right down the road.
Yeah, Nikki's so close.
So it took me 7 minutes to drive in.
It took me like an hour. It usually takes me like 28 minutes to get here. It literally took me an hour to get here this morning.
And my whole path was plowed.
Yeah, I know. Nikki, we were texting in the morning because Hudson's like, got stuck 5 minutes in. And then I'm texting. I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of slid off. I'm trying to get myself back on the road. Nikki goes, Westerville's plowed.
It's fine.
And I'm like, oh, great.
It was hard to get maybe out of the neighborhood, but outside of that, it was totally fine. So I knew I would be in no matter what. But because Isaia came in, we were able to have a whole brand new podcast for you today.
Yes, yeah, it was great. So we ended up making it all work. And one of the things that we talked about on the show today that I thought was interesting, we talked about some of the biggest pet peeves in a relationship, right? And we didn't really go over if we had any big pet peeves or if significant others of ours have thought about any big pet peeves of our own.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, one of my biggest pet peeves, and this has been one, there's both sides of it. One of the ones for me that people would talk about that they didn't like that I did, there's a couple things. One of them was for a while I was an open mouth eater.
You were? That's the worst.
I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore.
Dates. Oh, it's
I'm not anymore, but I used to be.
Thanks for changing.
I know. I used to be an open, but this is when I was younger. Yeah. I used to be an open mouth eater, and looking back,
it's bad.
Disgusting.
It's bad.
So gross. I've changed my ways in that standpoint, but the other way, one of my big pet peeves is when someone's just not a communicator, not a talker. Because we're in radio, so if there's silence at any point in my life, it's just odd. If I'm having a conversation with somebody and we're hanging out, and then there's that point where you're just that's weird. It's such a weird thing, and so I feel I have to fill it. So if you can't communicate back with me,
if you can't match with it,
yeah. If you're okay with silence, it's just gonna be tough.
Aww.
Do you have any big pet peeves?
For
Nikki?
me, I'm pretty organized.
You're clean.
I'm clean. I'm very organized digitally and in the real world. It's super bad. So Eric is not as organized as me. So every so often we go through a cleanse together where I go and help him. It's usually when I need to go get where all of our cups went to.
You're where the heck are those at? He's oh, they're somewhere.
Yeah, there's something. So I think that's the only thing that really tends to bother me the most, if someone is maybe making it a lot harder on me to have to clean up after them.
Yeah, if you feel like you're doing just a little bit extra. So we talked about that. We also did, considering Hudson wasn't here today, we had a little bit of a coffee struggle.
Which does fall under the, it's not clean enough in here, we found out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when we went, so Nikki and I decided that we were going to make the coffee this morning.
Did.
So that was a little adventure. Nikki was able to craft up some coffee, but when she showed me the coffee cabinet, which I never even really opened it because I'm never touching the coffee. I don't know how to make it. Nikki made it this morning. There's nothing in that cabinet I would ever need.
It's awful.
It's just covered in coffee. I don't even, was it coffee grounds, coffee beans?
Coffee grounds.
It's just black. It's a brown cabinet and it's just black in there. I don't know what Hudson's doing, but I feel like every morning he's got to be just tossing that stuff.
Well, we need to communicate. So we're going to do that before Monday's podcast when Hudson gets back in, but we'll not bring it up now because, he's stuck at home.
Yeah. He's already having a rough day.
He had a rough day.
He had a rough day as is, so we can't kick him while he's down.
We now know that we need to communicate about that. So there's lots of fun stuff in the podcast today. We really appreciate you guys listening. If you're stuck at home, stay safe. Isaiah, thank you again for coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And may we both be able to get out of the RadioU parking lot.
Our next adventure.
That's our next one. Because coming in, we both have big SUV and trucks. So you can come in because you can just floor it.
Yeah.
When you have our cars, you floor it, you get in. We're fine. You can't back up the same.
No, it's completely different.
And they haven't plowed our
parking lot.
It's
so bad.
Bad.
It's the worst. I drove an hour to get here. It should be a 30-minute drive.
It'll take you an hour to get out.
And there literally was not another place that was worse than our parking lot. Our parking lot is the worst.
Well, it's I don't know, 50 feet, and it's going to take us an hour. So good luck to you.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll just come back on Monday. We'll do this all again, okay?
Yeah, we might just stay till Monday. Is what it might
stay
be.
till then.
We'll see you guys on Monday.
Well, text and say hi at 877-2 RadioU and enjoy the podcast today, okay?
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Isaiah, you are now flossing
regularly.
All the time.
Flossed this morning.
You did?
I did. I floss the best time to floss, I'll tell you this, is when you're in the shower. Because when you're in the shower, you have that 5 to 10 minute period where you just stand in there and let the warm water hit you.
So you're flossing then?
You're just flossing while you're doing that. Everybody has that little period where you're kind of just in there with your own thoughts. You're not really bathing. You're just standing there. So you just need to floss during that time period.
Well, that's good because you want to get a good report when you go back to the dentist.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because the last time I went, they told me, they were like, hey, if you don't get your gums in line here, you're going to have this thing done where we scrape your gums and it sounds really painful. I don't want to have to do more dentist stuff than I already have to. So you guys need to start flossing. I was like, okay, I can do that. But in the back of my mind, I was like, wow, every time I come, you always say you have to floss, you have to floss, you have to floss.
So they lying or not?
So I think they're lying. They have to be lying because the next time I come in, I'm telling you, if they tell me you need to floss more, I'm going to say it's physically no one in the world can possibly floss as much as you want them to because I am flossing an unreal amount.
Well, maybe you need to go to a different dentist. Maybe this one is too tough on you.
They are. They're way too high of expectations.
There are some dentists where this dentist is known to be a little bit nicer. These are rougher. You just have to find out. Well, maybe these have been arrested, but
maybe these are my guys.
I'm sure these could have worked out. So you have a father and a son. The dad was 58, the son 31, and a nephew who was 29 years old in the Houston area. They were self-taught dentists, and they have been picked up because they're not dentists. They had once worked at a dental lab.
A dental lab?
A lab.
Interesting.
And
Doesn't sound very viable there, but...
That gave them enough confidence to create...
To be dentists?
So they were practicing dentistry without a license, which you're actually not allowed to do. So they were alarmed, they say, by the unsanitary conditions and the absence of diplomas or licenses on the wall.
See, when I think of places like this, I obviously these guys are just trying to make money, clearly illegally.
Yes,
but whoever is giving them money, who is going to these guys and letting them clean their mouth?
If you don't have dental insurance,
just send it there, I guess.
You'll go wherever you feel like you're at least somewhat getting your teeth cleaned for an inexpensive price.
So it sounds like these guys were doing the right thing, really.
They're not. Well, legally, no.
Legally, obviously it is illegal, yes, for the practice dentistry, but they were just helping out the little guy, Maybe somebody couldn't afford to go to the dentist. You go see Brian and the crew, I guess, and let him clean your teeth. He's probably in there, just brushing your teeth. I can't imagine. He just flosses you, brushes you. He's like, all right, I think you're good to go.
Well, okay, but you can be unlicensed and still be sanitary in the office. So, that, I think... is unexcusable. You can still keep... In fact, if I was doing something illegal, I'd be super aware that you wouldn't get caught, print out some fake diplomas, keep the office really clean.
Make it look professional.
Yeah, exactly. There was one TikTok I saw a few weeks ago from a lady who got her wisdom teeth out. Ooh. And she was hilarious because she got it done in someone's apartment.
What?
And it was not... It wasn't this legal,
Imagine the pain. Imagine the pain.
Well, everybody kept telling her you're going to feel a little weird afterwards when the medicine and stuff is wearing off. And she was laughing. She's like, they didn't even give her any thing for it.
What?
So normally when you like come down from having your wisdom teeth taken out, she had none of that stuff.
She was just going completely. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. I can't even imagine.
She just filmed the TikTok of her leaving the apartment.
Oh my gosh, imagine. I'm gonna go get my wisdom teeth taken out. They're like, why are you walking into that apartment complex?
What are you doing? So just be aware if you are trying to find a dentist and you come across these 3 people, they're family, like they make it
family
like
men.
Family dentistry practice. Just make sure that it is actually licensed because that is not legal.
Yeah, if they're just using an electric toothbrush and a water pick on you, they probably aren't actual dentists.
Or if they never encourage you to floss more.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Did you make something?
I made something special, and it was incredible. I'm not like much of a cook,
sure,
but I saw this like on Instagram or TikTok or something. Was like making deep fried Oreos in the air fryer, right?
And you did it?
And I did it because I was sitting at home. I forget what. I think it was 2 nights ago. I had nothing to do, just hanging out. I was like, I think I'm gonna do this and just like see how it goes. I had some leftover pancake batter.
So that's what you put around it.
That's what you put around it. So I literally all I did was I just took pancake batter. I kind of just eyeballed the milk, put a little bit of milk in there, stirred it around, tossed the Oreos in there, lined my air fryer in aluminum foil, tossed them in there I don't even know what the heat was, pretty hot. And then, use that. It was like 375 or something, and I used that
for always 400.
Yeah, 400 or so. And I tossed it in there for like 8 minutes, and they were so good. They literally tasted exactly, if I had powdered sugar, you would have never known that they didn't come straight from the fair. They were so good.
I am so impressed.
I know. Isn't that? I should have like brought it in the air fryer and just made them one day for lunch because everybody would have been so impressed.
Well, maybe we could because that sounds like a fun. I only do things like that, like if it's a big game or something. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe the Super Bowl or something.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Or Valentine's Day if it's not even for football. That could be good.
Yeah, when I was making the other night, my roommate was there with me. He's like, "No way. Are we doing this?" He's like, "No way, these are going to turn out good. Like, these are not going to be good." I was like, "I think they're going to be good." And he was like, "It was just too easy. Like, it was too easy of a recipe that's not going to taste like the real thing." And it tasted identical to the real thing. If all I need was powdered sugar, if I would have the powdered sugar, it would have been spot on. And it was pretty. I was impressed with myself. I actually took them because my brother lives right next door to me. My mom is like right there too.
Yeah.
And so I have like a couple left over. I'm taking them, showing them around. I'm walking around the neighborhood of my family, and I'm like, "Oh, look what I made! I made deep fried Oreos." I'm having everybody try them. I'm like, "Look how good they taste."
Oh, that'd be awesome if they're like not happy about your other choices in life. But they're like, "But listen, he's doing better. He made deep fried Oreos himself in the air fryer
last night. Like he cooked deep fried Oreos in the air fryer. So then last night I got on TikTok, and I got on like air fryer TikTok. I'm like, what else can I make in the air fryer? It's like the easiest thing to use. It's like making things in the microwave. Like it's the exact same. And so
You're
I'm like, what can I do now?
You're gonna
what
come
can I do?
We'll bring in the air fryer one day. Mm-hmm. I think we might even have one.
We need one. Do we have one here? It's hidden somewhere?
The problem is sometimes the more appliances we have in our break room, the more mess we make.
Oh, yeah.
And then no one ever cleans up the mess. And then we're like, hey, guys, we have a mess again. So we lose the appliances.
We start losing privileges.
But I'm in on that. So Isaiah's deep fried Oreos in the air fryer.
Literal pancake mix and milk was all I used.
Because one time someone brought in an actual deep fryer and made some stuff. But we got in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah. I bet if I was close to the equipment.
Well, it wasn't even that it was close. It was also just the smell.
Store at room temperature? Now that they can do. The Riot RadioU.
So if you are a fan of Shake Shack,
yes,
they tend to try to do cute promotions.
Yes.
For when they push out like a new sandwich thing. And Shake Shack is working with DoorDash now to promote their new buffalo chicken sandwich.
Yeah. So how are they doing this here? It seems like this is a weird way to promote a new chicken sandwich. Usually it's like a commercial.
Yeah.
Maybe they run a little ad campaign. This is not the typical way to do it.
I think it's a cute idea for especially around Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. So starting yesterday through, I think, February 15th, they are promoting with DoorDash a Shake Shack dating app.
Interesting.
You can connect with other chicken sandwich fans on like how spicy you like chicken sandwiches. So basically, yesterday through the 15th, you can go to let'seatcute.com, build your profile for Shake Shack, and they'll keep your information.
Of course.
And then you're going to search for a match, kind of like in your area. So singles will upload a selfie, put on there how spicy you like things, and then if you match with someone, you get a code for a free buffalo chicken sandwich from Shake Shack.
Oh, that's totally worth it then.
You think?
Oh, 100%. When I first looked at this, I was reading the article and I was like, wow, this is dumb. But then I realized
it's not dumb.
It's a limited time thing, so it's only for 2 weeks. I didn't even take into account the whole Valentine's Day thing. That's like a whole added in little bonus because everyone's looking for a date right now anyway. And so adding in that, and then you get the free chicken sandwich.
I don't think you're actually like dating the person.
No chance.
It's not really like you're going on a date. It's more just like you connected online and you both get the code. Mm-hmm. And then you can share that with your match. It's a limited time, so it goes away. So again, you're not actually dating anybody.
Yeah.
But it's a cute idea. And then you can enter in a chance to win $5,000 from DoorDash.
Yeah, all you need is a match. So make sure your profile's looking good. If you go through... You think you can get a match, right? Everybody can get a match.
I think they're giving out the free chicken sandwiches pretty much to everybody.
They're like, everybody gets one anyway, so no matter what.
Even if you're dating someone, you can still make one.
Yeah, get on there.
Just match. It's not like you're actually dating the person. So
yes, it's worth it.
I keep forgetting, like, we have a Shake Shack that is just opened up down the road. And even has a drive-through, and I haven't
went either.
I haven't. Never remember it's there.
I need to go there because I haven't went to Shake Shack in probably a couple years since I've been there. But I did like it a lot the last time I went. But yeah, they just opened one up just down the road from us, and I have not made it through the drive-through yet. But it is, and now that you bring it back up again, I always forget it's over there. It's an enticing place.
So with this, this is a collab with DoorDash, so it's not like it's even reminding me, like, they'd rather me go through DoorDash.
They didn't even go to their restaurant.
Well, you can still pick it up from there. But
yeah, it's
if not, they want to match you with someone else who might like the new spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah, you can go ahead and match your spice levels. Let's see if you're a mild guy, spicy guy, not so spicy, and see if that really relates.
It'd be funny if you actually did connect with someone and like really fall in love.
Yo, my gosh. You're like, yeah, we met on the Shake Shack dating app. I'm sure you heard about it. It was around for like a week or so.
Like you could actually maybe really have a connection with someone.
And if you do, you don't have to tell anyone you met on there.
Oh, and then you meet like at Shake Shack. You meet inside.
Oh, jeez, this is so cringy.
No,
it's so cringy.
Well,
get your free sandwich. Get your free sandwich.
No free sandwich for you.
No, get your free sandwich.
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about the Riot for free? RadioU.
I was gone for like 2 weeks when I was sick.
Yes.
And so I don't know if like you're changing, and I just want to make sure I'm up to date. Are you tea drinking now?
I've been tea drinking. I'm a tea drinker.
I wasn't sure.
Hot tea drinker. I would have went coffee this morning.
But
Hudson makes the coffee.
I know he's not here.
So we just don't. We can't do anything.
So you didn't learn when I was gone?
No, he didn't teach me. I assume that if anyone, he hasn't taught you.
No, I don't. I've never made coffee. Like, I think we could. It's just a coffee pot. Like, we could just beat
figure it out.
We could figure it out, but I don't want to.
I think it'd be actually really funny if I tried, because I have no idea how to even use it. I think it'd be funny if I tried to use it just to see what would come out.
Well,
do you think coffee would come out?
Of the coffee maker?
Yeah. Do you think I could figure it out?
We could watch a YouTube video.
I don't really watch videos. I kind of like to shoot from the hip, kind of wing it.
You want to just try it?
I want to just toss it in there. Hudson has like a whole thing down where he's like, I know it'll be ready at 6:45 if I start it right now, and I know how much grounds I need to put in there for the level of strength.
Yeah.
And I don't understand anything that he's saying when he says that.
Well, see, that's where I think we would get in trouble because everybody's so picky about how strong they like their coffee or not. But today, I don't think anyone else is coming in.
No, I don't think anybody else is coming.
Everybody else is just texting me to tell me they're stuck.
Yeah, everyone's like, hey, so I won't be in today. It's going to be just you and Isaiah for the rest of the day.
It doesn't matter if we make it wrong.
Terribly. We can just throw it out.
No one would be mean about it.
How will they know?
Well, then why don't you go try to make coffee?
Yeah, I'll go try to make it, and we'll just see how it goes. Because Hudson, it's funny because I have I don't know what strength we're drinking at or anything. I just defer to whatever Hudson says.
Sure.
So if he's making coffee, I'm like, okay, I'm sure it probably, and it's good. Like, it tastes good. Well, the creamer tastes good that I pour into it. Maybe we should just pour a glass or two of creamer, and that'll make
why don't we just drink
me feel a little more awake. But I'm missing the coffee, which is kind of scary.
Well, if you want to try it, just know that it's so many like scoops per water to make the strength level.
Dang, it's wild that I don't even know. Like, I have water too.
You have
like, there's
to do.
water and.
Well, what do you think it's made out of?
I don't know. I assumed that there was water built into the thing,
No,
and then just some sort of filtration system.
You open up the top lid. You put in like a filter. You put in so much coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Then you pour water into the top part. So then it drips down with the coffee when it's making it into the carafe.
Into the carafe.
Into like the glass thing.
Got it. And so the amount of coffee that you put in there, the more you put in,
makes how strong or not as strong it is.
But if I water it down, then it also is just even.
Okay. Don't make the coffee.
Sounds like you have a good idea. Why don't you just make it?
Don't make the coffee.
Like you and Hudson been doing this for how long? And you just haven't even tried? He hasn't even been like, okay, let me show you real quick how I do it just in case I'm not here.
Maybe we just don't drink coffee today.
Sounds like we just need to power through. I'm drinking water. I drink a hot tea. I'm trying to, the warmth is what I need in the morning to warm my voice. Like we've been on the air for like an hour and a half, 2 hours almost. And my voice just now is starting to really warm up with the coffee.
You need
like
something.
It's an instant like kicker in my throat, so I'm feeling good.
The only thing I get worried about is every so often we've made coffee and it comes out of like the coffee pot, like it just misses something with it.
Oh no!
So
we're gonna make a mess.
I'll leave it up to you. I thought we would do better until I started hearing you.
Well, I don't even know how it works. I've never even looked at it. Like when I don't even like to touch it until like I know that it's like done.
Sure.
Because I don't even know like if I pulled it away, would it keep dripping? I don't know.
Well, here, let me do this. Let's just Google how many scoops, because that's the real big problem.
Just the scoops,
How many scoops of coffee per cup? So if we want to make 2 tablespoons of coffee, so for a strong cup of coffee, you want 1 scoop per cup. For a weaker cup, you want 1 scoop per 2 cups. So let's figure out how many cups.
1 scoop or 2 cups is what I'm thinking here.
Okay, so how many cups of coffee do we want to make?
I don't even know. I drink like a little mini cup, so I don't know how many that is.
Okay,
I drink half of that little, there's the big white cups and there's those little brown ones. I drink half of the brown one at a time, but usually I have like 3 halves.
Okay.
So that's like a cup and a half, but I don't know if those are a full cup, maybe 0.75.
Yeah, if you're listening, I'm also disappointed that we can't make coffee in the coffee maker.
See, I'm
we
not
also
sure.
can't like change a tire or do anything
We
like
can't do
that.
anything. We're just lucky we're even here today.
I know, this is all you get.
This is impressive that we're here.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
So when you last heard us, both of us acknowledged that we do not make the coffee when it comes to the building. Everybody they're so picky, and sometimes people can be mean if it's not strong enough.
It's not right, and we don't know what we're doing, so they automatically, if we make, they're going to be questioning it right away.
Be mean, and so normally Hudson's the one who makes it each morning. He does a fantastic job. Now, he's not here, so it's just you and I. I went in there, and I think I made it right.
You think you did?
Because when I opened it up, it already had the coffee grounds in it. So I could kind of see like how much to put in there already because they were just wet from yesterday.
Oh.
I almost spilled them everywhere, but I got them in the trash can.
Outside of that,
it's fine.
There's a mess. It smells like coffee grounds in there, but other than that.
Now, Hudson's not here to hear this, but I would like to just throw a flag on the play. We are like pigs in there when it comes to why is it so messy where the coffee is?
It's so bad. And I will also say this is another thing. Oh my gosh, this just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And it happens here so frequently. I've never been around. Like, I don't know who did this, but did you see the zebra cake in there?
There's a zebra cake in there?
So we have zebra cakes that are in there. Typical, right? But
because we're pigs in the pig pen.
It's the same thing as it always is. Somebody ate one. They ate one of them. And then they have the other one.
Left the other one?
And it's in the wrapper, but they didn't even take the time. Like, you know, like when you eat, like if you eat half of something, then you would like fold the wrapper like underneath, you know, get it tightly air sealed.
Or put it in a bag.
That way it doesn't go stale, right? It's just open. It's just the flat across there. I don't know who is the fiend that is running around our office eating one of everything. Hudson ate one. Pop-Tart just leaves it in there.
Our boss
leaves the
does.
other one. And then the zebra cake, I saw that yesterday, and I was just disgusted.
Well, all you need to do is open up the cabinet where our coffee is. There's coffee grounds everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't we get it out of the bag without spilling it
I know.
everywhere? So I'm not cleaning it up today, but I think that We need to have a talk with everybody that we're not eating the one item and leaving the other.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
We're not spilling coffee grounds and not cleaning it up because it's a mess in there.
Yeah, thankfully, I think what's helping us is we do make coffee like every morning. So the coffee smell is very powerful. It's a very powerful smell, so it still smells good in there because that's like refreshed every single day. But I think if we didn't make coffee every day, I don't know what it would smell like in there. Zebra cakes, Pop-Tarts, oatmeal cream pies. Somebody decides to eat half an oatmeal cream pie and leave the rest of it in there.
It's gross because I feel like I need to vacuum out the coffee cabinet because there's so much stuff everywhere.
It's a mixture of all the different coffees we have.
So I'm not saying that's Hudson because Hudson's the one making it.
We're not saying it's not Hudson either.
I'm not saying it's not Hudson, but I'm saying that now that we've gotten involved in making the coffee this morning, that we have noticed a problem.
Yeah, there's a slight problem. And I think what happens is if we make coffee and it's like, it tastes even adequately all right.
We're going to have to do it every day.
We're going to make it on Monday, and I'm just going to be like, well, this just isn't up to par.
It's not messy enough.
This just seems a little bit weak. I like it a little bit stronger.
Well, I'm going to go get a cup. Hopefully it made it into the thing, and it's not spilled everywhere.
Hey, either way, I know it's going to taste good either way because we're just going to pour more creamer than coffee in it, so it doesn't even matter.
I tried. Boy, when it's bad weather out, we got to stick together and we'll survive.
We need something warm.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
A new survey of 2,000 drivers, as we're all figuring out if you're out driving this morning or you're not, that a lot of people worry about certain things when driving, and for some it makes them, not confident drivers. So if you feel like you're a confident driver, what do you worry about? They say 42% worry about driving in the dark. And they say that, foreign areas with the roads and stuff make you worried. And unfamiliar roads would be the other second most responded response at 37% on making it hard for everybody to drive.
Yeah, the one that I really love is it says 40% of Americans think the best driver they know is themselves.
Do they?
That's what they, and that is my favorite. 40% of Americans think the best driver they know is themselves. And you know what? I know it came on the air yesterday, and I said that I crashed into a tree yesterday, but I still will stand by.
That wasn't your fault.
That was not my fault, and I will stand by that I do think that I am the best driver right now.
How many accidents have you had?
I've never hit
your fault.
I've never hit another car.
Okay.
I have hit one pole.
One pole?
Well, and a tree now, so two.
I had
two total.
I hit a stop sign once.
Oh yeah, I can relate.
You're just like, bye, stop sign.
I hit like a yellow thing in a parking lot once, but I couldn't even see it.
No one's
It was
caring.
out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. But I do think I'm not comparing myself to everyone, but I would say of my friends and anybody that I drive around, I think I am the best driver I know.
Well, what makes a bad driver then? Accidents or like speeding tickets?
See, I think what makes a bad driver is someone who drives unconfidently.
Yeah.
See, if you're like nervous, if you're supposed to turn and you're like hesitant to turn, if you come into like a stoplight and you're not halfway out there to start, like there's like little things like that. Like if you're not revving to go, then I think you're a bad driver.
No, I agree with you because if you're a confident driver, it doesn't mean you're the worst or like the best or like you're a super fast driver or super slow. It just means that you're not causing, I feel like, other problems for other drivers. So
exactly.
I absolutely agree with that because some people, you are driving poorly and you are causing problems.
and you're nervous. They're like sweating, so they're sweating. Like I'm always the one who ends up driving, like me and my friends and stuff. Like if we're going anywhere, I'm always the driver on the road trips. So I would say that I think I am the best driver I know, but I feel like everybody inside has like a pride about them, like when they talk about their driving.
If they
She's
are
like,
good.
I'm a good driver. And then they're like, I don't know.
Well, you and 40% of Americans. They also talked about, as you might be planning road trips, that tends to be where a lot of problems driving can make their way out, can appear that maybe you didn't realize that. They say 1/3, 32%, you want to listen to your own playlist of music. That's RadioU. We do it for you.
Of course.
40% feel like whoever's the driver should get to choose the music. And 42% end up if you take turns with like your passengers to find out who wants to play what.
Oh yeah, there's always, for me it's either if I'm driving the car, I want to be able to have the music, or if my roommate or whoever sit in passenger seat, if I want to defer to them, I will defer to them if I don't have to worry about it. Depending if like we're on a road trip or some sort of long trip, I don't have to worry about that. I'll give it to them. But I will say also, I'm not someone who gets mad. Like I never like get upset in my normal day-to-day life.
You're pretty chill.
But if you want to see me upset, if you get me in a car for whatever reason, everything is heightened in a vehicle. If I'm getting yelled at anywhere else, like not in a car, it will never even faze me. Like I won't get mad. Like you'll never get a response from me. I'm always happy-go-lucky. If you yell at me in a car, if you're critiquing my driving skills, if somebody cuts me off, it is an absolute fury. It is angry. So if I'm sitting in the seat of the car, everything is 10 times more intense, and I am 10 times angrier than ever.
Well, remind me of that. We're not doing any road trips with you.
No.
At that point. But if you feel like you are a confident driver and you feel like you're the best driver out of everybody that you know, you are just like everybody else. Yep. Everybody feels that way.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The Riot, RadioU.
Have you ever done a Build-A-Bear date, Isaiah?
I have never done a Build-A-Bear date. I've never even done Build-A-Bear ever.
You never gone?
I've never built a bear.
Well, you can build more than just bear. No, just
yeah, all of a sudden, when I opened the store, I'm sure in the video they caught like my facial expression on what I thought when I saw this Build-A-Bear dressed in such romantic attire.
Well, you go to Build-A-Bear, you walk in, you pick like if you want a stuffed animal, and then you can add voices to it or smells and stuff, and then they go fill it up, and then you get clothes, and it's like so expensive.
Oh, unreal expensive.
It is so expensive. So I remember going, when I was younger, but then also every so often you get a guy who's like, hey, let's go to Build-A-Bear and build bears together. Mm-hmm. Now, Build-A-Bear has announced, and online they're taking this way gross, but they're doing stuffed animals now for an adult collection. So it's like an after hours bear. Mm-hmm. So they're releasing stuffed animals for adults. Basically, it seems like what makes these the adult ones is there a lot, there's some underwear.
They're dressed like scantily clad. The comment on this underneath this lion that's dressed in like a little robe all in red with a rose, a little bit of champagne is this Build-A-Bear trying to seduce me?
That's it. And then there's like a lot of wine ones, and the other ones are all just fine. Like they're not anything too bad, but they're just it's an adult grown-up line of Build-A-Bears that you can get now.
So now this circles back to, so obviously like they aren't marketing to this towards children, clearly. So this is more of an adult
Most
thing.
Work fine.
Yeah. This is more of an adult thing. But if you're like on a date with your significant other and you take them to make like one of these Build-A-Bears, that I'm telling you, that's just weird.
You think it's awkward?
I'm gonna judge you if you come back home and you guys have like your Build-A-Bears and underwear. Like that is just that's an odd date. If you tell me that you did that you dressed the bears, that's just it's so weird.
Most again are fine.
Yeah,
it's just like there's this one bear where he's wearing boxers and he has like this silk red heart around his head and he's carrying like some roses. Maybe you just build the bear, but don't like do the clothing.
Yeah, you can't do the clothing. I don't know. That's a cute date when you're just building a bear, but when you bring the whole romantic side with a stuffed animal, you're starting to get into a weird territory there.
You don't want the bunny that has the wine o'clock gift set.
See, that's yet again. I don't need my champagne, like my bunny holding champagne and a bottle of wine, like setting the mood. Like I just don't need that. I don't need a bunny to do that.
The Build-A-Bear stuff is so expensive that I remember when we would go, you're like, okay, you can get the bear, but you weren't allowed to get any accessories.
Yes, you don't get clothes for them.
You couldn't afford it.
And also just the line. Like the line is called the After Dark.
It is.
And that right there alone is too much for me. I think if this is one that I'm skipping out on, you can go do this, and I will judge you for doing it, but you can do it, and that's okay. You do your thing. This is not for me.
Well, maybe if you have a mom who's it's always wine o'clock with your mom or something,
yes,
or whatever that might be.
Hudson sees the glass as half empty. But get this, he thinks a glass half empty is good. The Riot, RadioU.
So, Nikki, I found this little story here about Paris Hilton and her new husband, Carter Room.
Did you know who Paris Hilton was?
I just know that Paris Hilton is like an attractive person. That's like the only thing
like
I knew about her.
Like a famous one for that?
She's like pretty? I don't know. Does she like do anything special? Does she have like a talent or something? Does she sing? Does she act?
I think
she's just
she
pretty?
used to. Well, that's a talent. No, I think she used to do like what is it? Reality shows.
Oh yeah.
And then I think she does like she's a DJ, as in like EDM.
Oh, that's cool.
And then their whole family's like that's Hilton, as in like hotels.
Is that what it is?
It is, yeah.
Ah,
So
that
they
makes sense.
Plenty of money.
So that's how she gets so famous. But she has a new TV show called Paris in Love, premiered on E with exclamation point. What is that? Is that like a channel or something?
You're not the target because you don't know who she is.
I don't know who she is. I don't know what this is. This a network? E?
Isn't it E Entertainment?
Oh, that makes sense.
It's like that.
Easy enough.
I just love you're like, you don't know anything about any of this.
No, but I do know this. So they have a new TV show together. It's pretty much about like their honeymoon, all this stuff. Like they just got married, right? Yeah. And so Paris asked Carter the typical question that a woman asked a male, which is there anything that you would change about me?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Exactly.
Right there.
And so Carter, let me help you if you're listening. This is the response you're saying, no, you're perfect. There's nothing I would change about you, right? And it was on the show, and he was like, well, actually, if you're wondering, I feel like you could be a little bit more organized. I thought that you were going to be more organized.
Oh, he said something?
He said that he thought she was messy. And then he was like, what about me? Like, is there anything that you would change about me? And she responded, and this response is like, this is what Carter was supposed to say. She was like, no, I mean, sometimes I feel like you're too good to be true, but that's pretty much it. And so then Carter's like, well, you're kind of messy. And she's like, oh, I think you're perfect. And so I'm like, Carter, next time just say she's perfect.
Well, this is a lesson learned. Yes, if someone asks you, like, is there anything, you should just say no. Even if there's a lot of things, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just funny because, like, they're on the show together, too. And so they were walking down the beach.
Really?
And she's like, is there anything you would change about me? He's like, well, you like, don't clean up after yourself. You could do the dishes more, like, that'd be great. Like, maybe if you could just clean up a little bit after yourself when you're walking around. And she's like, well, I think you're great.
I'm surprised he would even say that because I figure when you're so wealthy, you don't have to clean up.
Yeah, exactly.
To clean up after you.
Like, he was like, I feel like you're a little bit messy. Like, don't you have like a maid or something? Do you have like a nanny at the house that picks up your things? Like, what does she really have to clean up around the house? Like, does she have to clean up after herself? Like, but at the same time, it's just the wrong answer. Like, Carter, you can't say that.
Well, you know better. Isaiah knows better. Like, you just don't answer it.
Yeah, and they're only a few months into their marriage. So this is like, you're starting off, like, this is when you're supposed to be like, you're perfect. Like, imagine 6 years from now, you're going to be like, oh, well, you kind of smell bad sometimes. Like, it's not that the messy's happening now. 10 years from now, it's going to be way worse.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So we decided we were going to make coffee for the first time because normally it's Hudson who does it.
Yes.
And so I made it, and I would like to just give everybody an update. I think I made it too watery. It's not strong enough.
Like when I first poured it and tasted it, I could tell right away that Hudson didn't make it. I was like, okay.
It's me.
I was like, Nikki made this, so it's going to taste a little bit different.
Did you put creamer in it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? It was more than half creamer. I mean, I loaded the creamer in there. Either way, it tasted similar enough.
I did too, but
yeah.
You can tell it's just there's no coffee behind the creamer.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, well, that's great. It's more creamer taste. It's not. It's just
like
water.
It's just a watery taste. And I didn't say anything. I was waiting for Nikki to comment on it because I was like, even after I tasted it, I was just like, okay. Like, it doesn't taste bad.
No,
coffee never really tastes good for me anyway.
I couldn't tell. I think I put like 10 cups of water. And what I did is I just matched how many coffee grounds were in the coffee pot left over from yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they're all just there. It already went through the cycle. I don't know what you call it, but they're just there. So I took those out and I was like, well, I'll just scoop in that much. But I think I put too much water in.
Yeah.
I don't think it balanced out.
I would say that it was good enough. Like it was able, it got me warmed up enough.
I'm throwing it out.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have another, I'll have another quarter of a cup.
Okay, take
and
what
then
you want.
I'll have one more quarter of a cup and then we'll be good because there's nobody coming in out. Like nobody's just going to be drinking coffee later on in the day because usually like Chris, maybe Michael, maybe
They're
Hudson,
not.
like none of them are coming in to have a cup of coffee, so it's just going to be me and you, so we just can just toss it. No one will ever have to know.
I would like then on Monday, if we could all remember, Hudson needs to write down the ratio.
Yeah,
of like how many coffee cup grounds to water do we actually make?
He did not prep us at all. Like life without Hudson here, like clearly, I mean, we were capable enough to make coffee, but it just wasn't good. Like it just wasn't when Hudson makes it. It's just so strong.
But what we did do is we did find another box of zebra cakes, and we successfully opened those.
Yep.
And they're on the break room table for us to eat.
So those we might not have made the best cup of coffee, but I'll tell you this much: we're gonna have the best zebra cakes in a second.
So if because of bad weather, you and I can never leave the building today.
Oh yeah,
we at least won't die.
Yes.
We have watered down coffee and zebra cakes all day.
All day long.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.